Have you ever noticed this pattern? You have an idea, a message you want to send, a decision you need to make, a step you know would move your life forward. And instead of acting, you think, and think, and think some more. You replay conversations that haven't happened yet. You imagine worst-case scenarios. You search for the perfect answer, the perfect timing, the perfect version of yourself. Hours pass, days pass, sometimes years. And here's the confusing part. Overthinking doesn't feel bad at first. It actually feels safer. Safer than acting. Safer than risking embarrassment. Safer than getting it wrong. So you might tell yourself, I'm just being careful. I'm just thinking it through. I'll act when I'm more ready. But deep down, you're frustrated because you're tired of being stuck in your own head. Today, I want to offer you a different perspective. What if overthinking isn't a personal flaw? What if it's not a lack of discipline or courage? What if overthinking is something your brain learned as a way to protect you? And if that's true, then it can also be unlearned. In this video, we'll explore why your brain experiences thinking as safer than action, how this pattern is built through biology and past experiences, and how to gently retrain your brain to move forward without forcing or shaming yourself. Let's start by reframing the problem. Here's the first mindset shift I want you to try on. Overthinking is not laziness. It's not weakness. And it's not a lack of intelligence. In fact, many overthinkers are highly intelligent, deeply empathetic, and extremely self-aware. The real issue isn't that you think too much. It's that your brain has learned one very specific rule. Thinking keeps me safe. Acting is risky. And once your nervous system learns that rule, it will repeat it over and over, even when the danger is no longer real. To understand why, we need to talk about how your brain is wired. Your brain has one core job above all else: keep you alive. Not happy, not fulfilled, not confident, alive. And to do that, it constantly scans for threat. Now, here's the important part. Your brain does not clearly distinguish between physical danger and social or emotional danger. To your nervous system, being rejected, judged, embarrassed, or failing can feel surprisingly similar to physical threat. Heart rate increases, muscles tense, breathing changes, thoughts speed up. This is the fight or flight response. But here's the twist. When action feels dangerous, your brain looks for a safer alternative, and it finds one: thinking. Thinking is quiet. Thinking is internal. Thinking doesn't expose you. From your brain's perspective, acting equals uncertainty plus exposure. Thinking equals control plus prediction. So overthinking becomes a form of self-protection. Let's talk about where this comes from. First, early experiences. Many people who overthink grew up in environments where mistakes were criticized, emotions were dismissed, performance mattered more than process. If you learn early on that getting it wrong leads to pain, your brain adapted. It learned, better think harder, better prepare more, better not rush. That adaptation once made sense. Second, past emotional pain. Maybe you acted once, honestly, bravely, impulsively, and it backfired. You were embarrassed, rejected, shut down. Your brain recorded that experience like data, and it quietly decided, let's not do that again. So next time, it offered you a solution. Let's analyze instead. Third, praise for being thoughtful. Some overthinkers were praised for being careful, responsible, mature. So thinking became part of your identity. Action felt reckless. Thinking felt virtuous. And without realizing it, your nervous system learned to associate an action with safety. Here's another sneaky reason overthinking sticks. It feels like you're doing something. You're researching, planning, imagining, rehearsing. Dopamine, the motivation chemical, gets released not just by action, but by anticipation. So your brain gets a small reward for thinking. But there's a problem. Thinking doesn't resolve uncertainty. It multiplies it. Because the more you think, the more scenarios you generate, the more variables you see, the more reasons you find not to act. It's like standing at the edge of a pool, testing the water temperature forever, instead of jumping in. This is important, so let's slow down. Overthinking feels safer than acting, but that doesn't mean it is safer. What it actually does is trade short-term comfort for long-term anxiety. Because every time you avoid action, your brain learns. Avoidance works, and the fear grows. So the goal is not to eliminate fear. The goal is to teach your brain something new. I can act with fear and survive. Let's talk about how to do that. Not with force, not with just be confident, but in ways your nervous system can actually accept. Tool 1. Shrink the threat. Your brain doesn't respond well to vague goals like be confident, take action, stop overthinking. Those sound huge. Instead, ask, what is the smallest version of this action? Not have the difficult conversation, but write one sentence. Open the message draft. Practice saying it out loud once. Small actions signal safety. They tell your brain, we're not jumping off a cliff. We're stepping onto a curb. Tool 2. Name the protection. When you notice yourself overthinking, try this. Say out loud or in your head, thank you, brain. I see you're trying to protect me. This may sound silly. It's not. Your nervous system calms when it feels acknowledged. Then add, but this situation is not dangerous. You're not arguing with fear. You're reassuring it. Tool 3. Move first, think second. This one is subtle but powerful. Instead of asking, what should I do? Ask, what can I do for 60 seconds? Action creates new information. Thinking only rearranges old information. A single minute of movement, typing, standing up, opening a file, often breaks the loop. Tool 4. Separate fear from meaning. Overthinkers often assume, if I feel fear, it must mean something is wrong. But fear often just means, this matters. Try this reframe. Fear is not a stop sign. It's a signal of importance. Tool 5. Practice safe failure. Your brain needs evidence, not affirmations, not logic. Evidence. So intentionally choose low-stakes actions where failure is survivable. Send a message that's good enough. Post something imperfect. Speak up once, even if your voice shakes. Each time you survive, your nervous system updates its beliefs. A quick but important note. If you have ADHD, high sensitivity, trauma history, anxiety disorders, overthinking may be amplified by differences in nervous system regulation. This doesn't mean you're broken. It means you may need slower pacing, more body-based tools, external support. Be gentle with yourself. Let me say this clearly. You are not behind in life because you think too much. You adapted. You survived. And now, you're learning a new skill. The skill of trusting yourself in motion. Confidence doesn't come before action. It comes from action. Messy action. Imperfect action. Human action. So let's recap. Overthinking feels safer than acting because your brain prioritizes safety over growth. Thinking reduces exposure. Avoidance temporarily soothes fear. But safety built on avoidance shrinks your world. The path forward isn't force. It's compassion plus repetition. Small steps. Gentle exposure. A nervous system that learns slowly. I can move and I'll be okay. You don't need to become fearless. You just need to become braver than your thoughts. For 60 seconds at a time. And that is a skill you can learn. You're already on your way.